Dr. Jenny Klein, and I've missed you, so I'm back with a new show for us all. It's about our feelings, fears, and fantasies, our pain and our pleasure, our problems and our solutions. It's a time for us to get together, think things over, talk things over, and find out that we are not alone. Perhaps then we can all help each other make this world and our lives just a little bit better. Did you ever feel really alone, that if something has to be, it's just up to you to get it resolved? Let's take a closer look at just that issue. Hey, Kathy, how are you?
I'm sorry that I was running a little late. I decided to be late, though, and I didn't go back and get my purse. I'm driving without a license. I'm really sorry. Hope I didn't keep you waiting.
No, that's okay.
I didn't want to upset you, and be later. But now I'm very nervous because I don't have my license. I'm going to have to go and get it. Do you know if you get a ticket for driving without a license?
I don't know, but
all right.
It's kind of scary, because if you make a mistake, there's no backup,
I know. What if someone hits me and then I don't have a license? I'm like, oh. Anyways, I can't worry about it now. I already made the choice not to
You are worrying
go back.
about it.
I
'Cause you're
know,
rubbing
isn't
your
it
hands
ridiculous?
together. Like, sometimes when we're in trouble, there's really nobody to turn to, because we're blaming ourselves because we made a mistake, we forgot our person.
No, it was my mistake. I did forget it. I wish I could blame somebody else.
Yeah. Well, we do forget. That's because we're not perfect.
But it was weird. Like, I was thinking, I could be 5 minutes late to you and then go back and get it, because I realized it when I was driving.
Yeah.
Because
I was late.
Did I know that? But I didn't know that. So I was thinking, oh my God, what do I do? Do I go back and get it? Or you're going to be really upset with me. It was like I had a panic. So instead, I found myself, I go, oh my God, I'm speeding now to get there on time. And I said, oh my God, I have to slow down, because they have speed traps all over the place. And I don't understand why. Now I'm sitting here thinking, like you said, you were late. I had to wait for you. I could have been getting that thing. And even if I was late.
But how could you know in advance the right thing to do?
I wish I could. If you could know in advance, then you'd never make a mistake.
Oh, it's interesting. I just told this to someone the other week. And my friend Pearlie told me this story. She was studying Italian, and she got very upset. And she said, why do I keep making the same mistake? So the teacher, who was very nice, says, Signora, you don't make a mistake. You just don't know. When you know, you don't make a mistake.
That's funny.
In other words, it's okay not to know.
I know. I know what you're saying, but it just doesn't seem. It's like the anxiety, this feeling of intense pressure that I should know. I should be able to take care of that. And
why? Well, when you were small, wasn't someone have your back? I mean, did you
I was the oldest. I was always in charge. Really, my mother was really, really afraid. She didn't know how to speak the language where we lived. We lived in Germany. And so I was speaking German when I was younger. And so I did a lot of interpreting for my mom.
So you were kind of in charge at a small age.
I felt like I had to make sure that my mother was taken care of, you know what I mean? Because she didn't speak any German, and I learned it.
So you were kind of had to take care of her, and you probably had to take care of your siblings, and then you had to take care of yourself.
Well, I don't really do a very good job of taking care of myself, because I don't find it
to be... You're so busy taking care of others?
Well, I don't know if I am busy doing that, but if I have a choice between doing something for myself, going back and getting my purse, which would really bring my anxiety level down, and it would be just for me, I feel like, oh, but I'm going to upset somebody else.
So it's a conflict.
So there's like a horrible conflict. I always choose to do it for somebody else. I don't know why. It feels so much more rewarding.
Well, when you were a kid, you had to put your mother first because she couldn't take care of herself.
But it didn't seem like I was doing that.
But you just told me you did.
Well, it seemed like I was doing what I was supposed to do.
Right.
And that's what was expected.
And that is put the other person, take care of mother first because she can't speak German. How old were you when you went there?
Let's see. 3, 4, and 5?
So if it
Long time
was, so
ago.
if something was to be, it was up to you.
It seemed like it was up to me. I really don't feel like anybody's really thinking about what's going on for me.
Well, probably.
Not me either.
Probably you felt that, you know, there was a lot on your shoulders. You know, children of 3 have a terrific imagination. And they imagine power beyond their power. And then they expect themselves to solve things beyond their ability to solve it because they're only 3 years old. And if they don't do it, then they blame themselves. So there's no time for you because you're busy trying to talk for your mother at 3 years old.
Well, driving here, that's what it felt like. It felt like, you idiot, you're the one who forgot your purse. What's
Who's
wrong with
talking
you?
to you?
Me.
Which one?
Well, it is stupid not to
Wait
bring
a
your
minute.
purse.
Wait a minute. You said to yourself,
Yeah.
you idiot?
Yeah.
So the you must have been an imaginary person who would never forget anything, calling you an idiot because now you're going to upset someone who was waiting for you, who was late anyway. So someone you imagined at 3 was probably yelling at you if you didn't know a word in German and your mother was confused and upset. It's your fault. So you were all alone in a sense. If it was to be, it was all up to you. What an imagination you did have. So I said to myself, you're an idiot because you forgot something and therefore you're not 100%.
Well, I wasn't planful. I mean, I thought I had the purse in the car, and I was on a very tight
Where's
schedule today.
Where is your forgiveness for your humanity?
You think it's normal to forget your purse?
How many times this year have you forgotten your purse?
This year. I think this is the first time this year.
How many times in the last 5 years
Sorry.
have you forgotten your purse?
I don't remember. But I've made I forget things. Or I'm in a hurry and I have everything organized and then something happens and then my
forget
time
something.
frame goes off.
Okay, but how about if you forget something when you go to the market? Do you ever forget something?
Sure.
How many things do you remember and how many things do you forget? Would you give me a percentage of what you remember?
Well, I usually write them down now and I usually get what I need.
Right, and if you don't write them down and you forget one thing but you do the other 4 or 5 things, what about that? Doesn't that count?
It counts, but I feel bad that I forgot something.
You focus on the one thing you didn't remember because you were all alone as a child. You had responsibility for your mother and you were 3 years old. And I mean, you have an imagination that wouldn't quit. My kids are 3 years old, can imagine they're a fairy princess, you know? And then they don't have wings, and so they get mad at themselves. In other words, we can imagine more than we can ever be when we're 3, and then get mad at ourselves for not being it. So now,
It
if
seems
you
harsh.
forget one thing,
Yeah.
and you never forgot your purse in a whole year, then you get no credit for the whole year when you did remember. It's either 100 or nothing.
Well, it does feel like that. It feels
It
like
feels like that.
the good things are wiped out. Like you can never do enough.
Right.
Do you know what I
because
mean?
It's a hero-zero game.
Oh, what do you mean?
It's either 100% or nothing. That's the imaginary idea of ourselves. We're either 100% or we're 0.
But isn't that true?
No.
It seemed like it was in my life.
Did you, but if you are, have you ever been 100% yet?
just for small pieces of time.
Right, when you remembered everything in your shopping list. Right.
One
But
day.
How about some understanding and acceptance for the human being you truly are?
But I'm really good at doing that for other people. Like if someone's late or someone
Or for
forgets
who you
something,
really are.
I don't really,
Kathy, for
it doesn't
who
bother
you
me.
really are.
I don't see the point in. I mean, wouldn't
Well,
that allow
it was
for
necessary because you were alone and had to take care of you, your mother, and your siblings. And you can't do that at 3 years old. But you can imagine it. But you can't do it. So you think the gap is illegitimate. It's not okay. It's okay for others, but it's not okay for you.
Right.
Because you were alone, so you had to do it all. But you couldn't.
You know, I had a conversation today with my daughter, and I'm wondering about this. I was on the phone with her, and I was telling her how I had found out that this company, I couldn't get something repaired, so I had to contact the company and send the watch in to the company. And she said, oh, well, I got another watch, and I replaced the one you got me, and she named a name brand, and I go, that's not what I got you. And I got really aggravated that she kept saying that I had gotten her something that I hadn't gotten her, but I was really angry. And I guess it's because I was doing something for her, and she was telling me I made a mistake.
You made a mistake.
And I was like, why did I get so aggravated? I was like, I can't do this, I can't discuss this, and my voice started to get really loud, and I felt like a jerk afterwards because, I mean, she just said that she replaced this item and had gotten this brand on sale, and I said, well, then you'll have two when I but what I was feeling hurt about, I'm realizing it now, that she didn't acknowledge that I was working on solving the problem for her.
And did your mother acknowledge that you were working on solving the problem for her? Did she ever learn German?
No.
Thank you.
Never.
So, did your mother ever acknowledge that you were doing all these things?
No, she used to make fun of me by saying that.
No kidding.
She said I had two brains. That was weird to me.
Yeah, you
I
had a
said,
brain for mother who wouldn't learn German, and you had a brain for yourself who had to. I
don't
mean,
know.
so your mother made fun of you, and after you had to do this for your mother, you had to, and there was no one looking after you but you.
Look, I was 3, 4 years old, and the woman taking care of us spoke German, no English, and my mother spoke no German.
Okay, but the point is, your mother, instead of
confusing.
appreciating, like the anger might really not be about the watch that you were trying to repair and replace.
Right.
For your daughter, it might have been that she just didn't care about the fact that you were working so hard to make it right.
I was working hard to make it right.
Are you mad at your mother or your daughter?
Well, it seemed like I was mad at my daughter, but my reaction to my daughter was just over the top.
But the issue is...
My mother.
Yes.
And what my daughter was saying
You said
sounded
that,
like
very
my mother.
angry, my mother.
Oh my God,
Were
yeah.
you angry at your mother? You couldn't afford to be.